when you have these quotes and you're
That's-
talking about heart and you're talking about we, and again, we're talking about togetherness, these are always red flag sort of things. You know, it's not pull ourselves up by the, you like to hear things like, we know we've got the guys in this locker room to pull it together, and we will do that. You know, like, I've got faith in my guys. We've got the best team. We're better than this. You know, let's go. It's a lot of we're not doing this. You know, you're getting a lot of that, and that really is the looking around the room sort of stuff. Like, if just folding under adversity, no fight, coming out flat, no one picking each other up. These are just terrible, terrible signs. This is the worst you could hope for.
These are all quotes that you don't want to hear after a game. Just like guys that are taking everybody out. Nobody taking like the blame. Everyone's just saying like, well, none of us are playing well, and you know, we're folding under pressure. We're not playing, you know, with this defensive intensity. It's like, what is that? What's going on in that locker room?
How much do you think
locker room one?
Yeah. How much do you think it's the good players? How much do you guys think it's the good players? Basically, this is coded language for the good players saying everyone else on this team sucks but us. Like, how much of it do you think is the good players? Like, there's 3 good players on this team and everyone else blows. And really, that's what they're saying when they say we.
I don't think there's much of that, John. Because the
Well,
good players aren't good.
A little bit. Yeah.
The good players aren't playing good. I mean, you know, when they go back, when they go back and they look at video from each game, they see all the dumb mistakes they made. I mean, can you imagine how Marcus Smart felt when they looked at the video of that jump ball turnover? My goodness. I mean, that's you know, and when they go back and they see what Mo Wagner,
the Red Sox, man, the Red Sox thing.
I know, right? See, John's got me thinking Red Sox. I hate that. But
he was so bad.
Mo Wagner or Mo Vaughn?
Yeah, which one?
No, Mo Wagner.
Wagner wasn't alive for Mo Vaughn, I don't think.
Right.
Yeah, that's not in my memory.
Mo Vaughn before, it was way before Ortiz.
Yeah, but I mean, the best players on this team have not been great, and that's part of the problem. They haven't elevated their play to the point where others around them are coming up too. I mean, and again, completely different team, completely different player. But when you look at where Chris Paul winds up going, it seems everyone tends to get better in the regular season. And I qualify that because, as we know, postseason, Chris Paul is not your guy. Regular season, everyone seems to elevate their play. Tatum, Brown aren't there yet. The guys around them aren't good enough to get there on their own. And that, to me, is where the challenge comes in for Danny Ainge and Brad Stevens to get better players so that their best players can not just elevate themselves, but can elevate those around them.
That's the question. We talked a lot about, like, are you going to swap in the stars tonight? Are you going to make these, like, transformative changes at the top? I mean, they had the chance, it feels like, this year to get a better player in Gordon than Smart. And, like, again, it was a close call, but that's something you look at maybe in the offseason and say, oh, there might be nothing here. Could we have done something at the deadline? And that's what I warned about all along. The opportunities were at the deadline. I don't know if they're going to be there in the season for, you know, the kind of stuff we tossed around tonight. Like, there's a lot of optimism in making some of those changes and,
I don't know,
you know, ripping out the core of the team.
Yeah, I don't know, Bobby. I think after the offseason, they thought that they were in good shape. I mean, honestly, do you really think that they thought that they would have to part ways with Jeff Teague, you know? You don't think that they expected Tristan Thompson to have a more significant role and have an immediate impact? I mean, I think right there they knew, okay, this is going to be tougher than we thought, because they thought maybe, I don't think they looked at it as a home run, but they thought that those were 2 significant pickups that they could rely on, 2 weapons off the bench, along with the progressing Robert Williams, of course, Grant Williams. I mean, Grant Williams, he was almost in a different role last year. Like, he was one of the guys that I thought
was much better.
Not a huge leap in the second season, but a leap nonetheless, and he's that never happened, you know. They got lucky with
small ball 5 versus playing the 4 with another big. Right?
That second unit is very, very thin, very thin.
All right. Well,
here's a quote from Brad. I don't know what the question was, but he said, this is from Tom Westerholm, "That's probably our reputation to not respond for 10 to 12 minutes."
Woo. Yeah.
He ain't wrong.
Brad's playing the we game too.
Brad was angry tonight after the loss.
We aren't doing it. So yeah, I mean, we've said this
everyone's
before.
calling each other out.
This is such an easy, obvious thing to say for the people unaffiliated. You know, not that we're not coaches. Obviously, it's so easy to quarterback it from the sidelines and say, do this, do that. What I don't understand is, why do you keep doing the same thing? Like, why did Wagner start tonight? Because you're just used to playing a big, like, why aren't you trying some, like I said, I'm not saying it's the right thing, but Kemba to the bench. I'm not saying it's the right thing, just something else.
Why is Kemba always the problem with you?
It's not, Bobby. Bobby, you just got to listen, man. I'm not saying do that. I'm just saying, for lack of a better idea, do anything different, okay? Anything different that breaks you out of your rhythm, where you play your starters oftentimes with that too big lineup for 40 games, then you take Tatum out at the 6-minute mark, and then you bring him back in here, and then you play these guys. You're 2 games under 500. You've been doing the same stuff all year. There's no evolution. You're not adapting, and you're not changing the way you play. We were talking about the Ryan Bernardoni tweet today in response to Corrales' article saying, are we sure Rob should start because Rob isn't doing certain things with the first unit? And then the counter is, that's because you got to make those guys play different when Rob's on the floor, not Rob adapt to Tatum and Brown. You have a guy who brings a different element to the game, and he's rolling to the rim, so utilize that. Don't make him do things where you take him out of the ability to do anything that he does. Is the offense irreparably broken the way it's being allowed to run right now? And if so, do something different to force the issue. Change, evolve. Yeah. But it's the same stuff over and over. You're allowing everyone to do the same things, and it's not working. So do something. That's what's frustrating right now.
And starting Fournier would have been an easy one. That would have been an easy one, John, right?
So easy. Starting Fournier tonight was so easy, like it was such an easy. When it was Wagner, I think like 99% of people are like, what?
Yeah, I didn't even imagine that would be a option there. I was just like, what's going on?
So try something, mix something up. You're going to sit here in the postgame if you're Brad and say, we're not this and we're not doing that. And we go through. If you have people on the court who have quit for 10 minutes at a time, yank all of them off the freaking court and then don't put them back in for the rest of the game. That's what coaches do. Okay, you guys are not trying and you're not going to get to play anymore. Okay, I'm taking your toys away. Like, that's it. But he doesn't do that. How do you allow your team to be out there and not play for 10 to 12 minute stretch and then admit it after the game? That makes no sense to me.
I think he did it a little bit against Oklahoma, though. Remember having the end of that first quarter? He benched Jaylen, he benched Tatum, and then that second unit got them back into it, right? Peyton Pritchard started knocking down a couple of shots. Grant Williams was playing great defense. He knocked down a 3 or 2. So he's done it in stretches. But yeah, I'm with you. I think he's gotta get the whip out. He's got to take his belt out. You got to spank these all-stars a little bit. Slap them around, old school style. You know what I mean? Take it back, because at the end of the day, what's left? Like, what's the alternative? This team is below 500. There's 20 games left. I feel like that's nothing. That's gonna fly by.
Or just adjust. Yeah, like if you really want to do the Wagner thing, get away from it after halftime.
You started the second half with him. You're down 19.
Yeah, did he Mr. Rod? Oh, I'm getting flashbacks from that. No.
Come here, Joe Sway.
I don't know.
Yep, let's be real. Brad's under fire the rest of the way. Like, he's got to
Marcus
Brown
11:29 p.m.
Listen,
what was the final straw?
3 games ago, they did exactly.
Starting Wagner did it.
Ainge
What
did
did
what I. Hey,
he didn't say what I think he said.
Ainge did what he needed to do. He made the move. He invested in this team, and now they have the personnel, if they're healthy, to get it done. So now the coach has to get it done. There's no excuse anymore.
Wow.
Get what done? Get out of the first round?
I agree with part of what you said, Bobby. Like, Brad's under the hot seat because
there's no excuses anymore.
But the Fournier is not the reason. Getting Fournier and giving him the pieces is not the reason why. It's still a pretty flawed team, even with a small addition at the deadline. Fournier is not a savior. Fournier is an upgrade.
He's a significant upgrade.
Sure, but
he's a Band-Aid.
He's a Band-Aid. You traded away your starting center, and you're left with Rob and Tristan's out for who knows how long. You lost a little bit in that deal. You lost some in that transaction too. So you did. You went backwards. You went from Tice to Wagner minutes, Tice to Kornet minutes now.
Oh, my. And that's the frustrating thing. They made a move to change the style of the team, and you're still doing the same thing, leaning on Wagner minutes to fill the Tice role. Tice is gone. He's not here. You can't run the Tice offense with Wagner. They tried to throw an alley-oop to Wagner tonight.
Bobby, welcome to the resistance.
It was so
welcome
bad.
to the resistance, Bobby.
Yo, Wagner looked at that like, are you serious?
Tonight was the worst.
Welcome to
night
the
of
dark
season.
side, Bobby.
He
You can't
made
go
it.
back.
Yeah,
You
no,
know who I
tonight
am?
really was the worst Stevens night of the season.
They missed
Well,
Rob,
Bobby,
man.
we're just glad you got off the island and came to mainland.
Oh,
Welcome to the mainland.
good
I'm
lord.
mad we missed,
There's a middle ground, yeah.
you know. This game would have been a lot
Bobby
more.
is on the
entertaining.
mainland, folks.
He did it.
He has left Fantasy Island. Welcome to the mainland.